everybody, this is Simone and I'm here with Bruce Kaphan.
Hello there.
How's it going, Bruce?
It's going good.
Good. So what is this weird instrument you're playing here?
It is a pedal steel guitar. Here's the steel part.
Okay.
And
And
down
here's
here
the pedal.
are the pedals, and there are also knee levers, which you would need to get down and look up from under to see. The undercarriage is basically like a mechanic's nightmare. But what the pedals and knee levers do is change pitches of various strings. Now, my instrument here is a double neck, two 10-string necks. You can get this instrument in many different configurations. It can be a single 10-string, it can be a 12-string, it can be a double 12, it can be a 14. The older ones were 8-string. So the configuration is not particularly consistent from instrument to instrument. And neither is the way that the pedals and knee levers are set up. However, they always function the same way, which is to pull a string either some degree semitone or whole tone, even a step and a half, sharp or flat. And there's an incredible amount of what I think is genius in the inherent makeup of the tuning on the E9 neck, which is the more modern tuning, which is what I have here on the front. And that is within the 10 strings, which are tuned, I'll play it and then I'll tell the notes. So that's B, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, B, E, G sharp, D sharp, F sharp. And you notice that there's actually, the pitch is not linear upwards. It has the
Goes down and then back up.
Exactly. And that's a really interesting, because you don't have fingers on your left hand to play with, you're playing with a piece of steel, you're not quite as nimble on your left hand as you would be on, say, a guitar. But what the staggered tuning does on your right hand is allow you to alternate picking and be able to play a scale. So by alternating your picking hand.
One more time.
Sure.
What happens when you press the pedal in this case?
Okay, in this particular case I'm using the pedal for melodic effect, which is where I'm taking my 5th string, which is a B, and changing it to a C sharp.
One more time. Great. And all the other pedals function in a similar way, either going up or down on individual strings, right?
Exactly right.
So each pedal is related to one specific string?
No. Different for different pedals. And in fact, on this instrument, the first 4 pedals are associated with my E neck, and then from the 4th pedal onto the 8th pedal is associated with my C neck. Now, knee levers are more active on the E neck. One really good example, guitar players, since most guitar players are at least familiar with standard guitar tuning of E, right, open tuning, the E neck similarly has in its, there's 6 strings that are tuned to a basic E major triad, right? So you have B, E, G sharp, B, E, G sharp. And the genius of this tuning is, and my nickname for it is that it's a Baroque harmony generator, because the changes that were popular in Baroque harmony are readily accessible on this tuning just by manipulating the pedals. So for instance, if I take my B, E, G sharp, which is 5, 1, 3 on an E chord, right? So it's the 5 and the 1 and the 3 of the 1 chord. If I use my A pedal and B pedal to change the 10th string and the 6th string from C sharp respectively and G sharp, from B to C sharp and G sharp to A, I go from the 5, 1, 3 of the 1 to the 3, 5, 1 of the 4 chord, and so on with all of the notes within the basic triad grip of the 1, 3, and 5 in E. If I put down the A and B pedals, I get a 4 chord out of all of those strings. So you get that harmony. And then similarly, just by using different combinations of pedals and knee levers, I can do a classic 1, 4, 5 turnaround. which is using the A pedal, the B pedal, and my E to E flat. Underneath, on this particular tuning, I can just kind of show you what the basic pedal changes are. My A pedal changes the B strings to C sharp, both Bs. My B pedal changes the G sharp strings to A. My C pedal changes my high B and high E to B, C sharp and F sharp, respectively. And then I have a kind of an odd change on my 10th string, which takes it down to A. And then my right knee left takes my E strings to E flat. My left knee left takes my E's to F. My right knee right takes my upper D sharp to D, and then there's what's called a half stop on that. Also takes it down to C sharp, where it also takes the 9th string down to a D. And it probably sounds very confusing, but ultimately what happens is that you have to study for a long time to make it into muscle memory. So I'm just using various pedals and knee levers as I go along, because musically and functionally, I know that if I want the one chord to become a 2 minor, I know that at least in this position, in the open position, I just hit my B pedal and C pedal together at the same time. So again, it's sort of complicated if you think about it from a global perspective, but on an instance by instance, if you break it down to single things, if you know what you want to do, it becomes easy over time. When I first bought my first steel, I practiced 6 hours a day, 7 days a week, and after 6 months of that, I gave up. I put it in the closet for a year because I couldn't get good tone, and I couldn't keep it in tune. And then it was just after many years of playing lots of gigs and practicing a lot, I finally got my tone and intonation to where I wanted it, and was able to, play the instrument expressively. Now, the difference between a pedal steel and a lap steel, for instance, is on a lap steel you do not have any of the pedals or any of the knee levers. It is just simply strings stretched across a bridge and a nut with a pickup. In order to get more interesting chord changes on a lap steel, oftentimes you have to do what's called a bar slant, which is where in order to change, like, it depends on the tuning. There are many tunings for lap steel, many, many tunings. And, of course, there are as many as you can imagine, because often when I'm recording, I'll just create a tuning that does what I want it to do.
Of course.
Yeah. But in terms of like a standard E major, like the simplest, like E, B, E, G sharp, B, E type of tuning on a lap steel, in order to get changes, you'd have to...
Right.
You have to slant the bar to do
You have to use a special kind of bottleneck for that, or?
No, this isn't a bottleneck at all. It's actually a hefty...
Let's see what it is.
It's a solid
Piece
of steel. Very highly polished. With a pedal steel in particular, because of the number of strings, when you're playing single note runs, you don't want to be dragging the bar across the strings because it makes a lot of noise. So a lot of times you'll just end up using the tip of the bar to keep the bar noise to a minimum. So if you play that riff with the bar down, there's just more noise associated.
Sure.